So here we are with the TR7 carbs. I've sent all the stuff off to be plating. So as the rebuild's progressing, I've done a load of plating. Some of it's come out really nice. Lots of plating, nuts, bolts, brackets, bits and pieces. And those linkages, they come out nice, don't they? And we're left with the main bits of the carburetor, which we've got to make decisions on, and we've got to rebuild, restore, whatever. Well, certain bits we know for a fact they're going to be replaced. They're going to be in the kit. So the jet, for example, going to put a new one of them on. Spindle, new one of them on. The needle, maybe, I don't know yet. The butterfly, maybe, I don't know yet. But what I'm going to do with anything that's left, what we're going to do now is we're going to give it a thorough clean. And that means the usual synopsis of ultrasonic cleaning, engine cleaner, all the usual scenarios, a little bit of sandblasting. I mean, if you're looking at that's a bit, yeah, a little bit raw. So that will go in the sandblaster and will come out absolutely gorgeous. Make sure that everything is as it should be. I've got to clean that face off. Look at the state of that gasket. Those gaskets stick like bilio and they're quite hard to get off. When that's off, I'm going to reface the front and rear faces of the carburetor. It's been in the cleaner, the ordinary engine cleaner. It don't look too bad, but it's now going to go in the ultrasonic cleaner. And then maybe alley brightener if it needs it. Some of the parts have been cleaned in the ultrasonic cleaner. They've got to be have that refaced. Got to make sure they're as bright as I want them. Plus we've got to do the bushes. Polish up the dashpots. Make them look really nice. And yeah, we'll be then ready for the rebuild. This shows you how to reface the faces on your carburetor using basic tools, basic stuff. Right, if you go to an engineering company, they're going to want a milling machine to do this, but 90% of the time, unless you have to remove loads, you don't need a milling machine, you just need basic tools. So look, here's the face. It isn't in that bad a condition, all right? So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to give it a going over with some coarse paper to find out what area is. Now what I've got here, I've got a drill table. That is dead flat, that is. So I get some paper, big sheet of paper, hold it in position, put some oil on it, and then just rub the item up and down several times. And then wipe it off. Then it gives you a basic understanding of what you need if you need anything, and then you can go up in grades. You can start off with fairly coarse and then you can keep going up until you get to fine grades, and then you can end up with a face that's perfect. So there you go, we started with 80, then we went to 120. That's given us a nice smooth finish. Nice and smooth. Any areas that needed removing would have been removed, and then you can now easily have a nice finish. So what we're going to do now, going to go to a 600, and what you do is just put the paper there so you can hold it. You get some oil, ordinary engine oil, put engine oil on it. Get your carburetor face, and then you just keep it flat to the plate, so you're getting a nice flat. This is what we used to do in the old days, before we had machines to do it. This is the way things are done, and you don't have to do it for very long before you get the results, especially with oil, because when you've got oil on, it's nice and easy and smooth to push it up and down the plate. And you keep See, it's coming on quite nice. A bit more like that until you get a really nice face. And if you wanted to go up to 1,000 grit, you can, obviously. And then you get a lovely, really polished face. It doesn't take long. And there you go. After a very short period of time, just going through the different grades of paper, and literally 10 minutes. And these faces are perfect for service. Absolutely perfect. So the next thing that is going to be done to this body is the bushes. So once you've sorted out the bushes, slide the new spindle into position and then make sure it's absolutely perfect. And then we get the bell mouth and fit the bell mouth into the spindle. Fit it in there lightly. Always use new screws, always brand new. They're only a couple of quid, so don't skimp on them. Put them in, but don't do them up tight. Just nip them up, because what you've got to do is you've got to centralise the butterfly. So you just do these up gently until they're just nipped up. Just a little nip there. Little nip there. Now you can open and close the bell mouth to make sure that when it shuts firmly and correctly in place. Once you're happy about that, then do the two screws up tight. Once they're done up, just double check that when it opens and shuts, you get a full closing of the bell mouth, and then you can invert it, and then you've got to spread the ends of these screws. Now you haven't got to go mad, just spread the screws very slightly so that there's no way they can come undone. And that is spindle and bell mouth done. The next thing we want to do, insert the jet holder into the bottom of the carburetor, make sure it's nicely home, and then screw in the nicely plated nut. Nicely plated throttle stop screw. Into position. Next, you get the newly plated bolt. You get the float bowl that's been jet blasted out with the correct pin on the end. Feed that through there. Tighten that up, and you get the float bowl into position. Capstat jet. What are you going to do with that? Well, I'll probably buy another one. I'll probably buy one of those red jet conversion kits. They're only about 100 quid. Really? Why would you do that? There's nothing wrong with that capstat. It's only done a few miles. Yeah, but it's dirty and it looks horrible. And you know, when I sort of restore this carburetor, I want it to look the bollocks. So I'm going to get a brand new jet. I think it's a good idea to get a brand new jet anyway. Really? Do you? Why is that then? Well, you know, makes sense, doesn't it? No, not really. The only thing it makes sense for is to put more money in the pockets of those that sell new jets. They don't want you to do anything with the jet itself. So I'll tell you what we'll do. Let's see if we can restore a capstan. So remove that little washer, then remove the nut, remove the spring, and then we need to unclip this base. All we do with that is we bend these tangs back like that, and then remove from the bottom. The jet comes out along with the spring. There you go, disassembled. Here is the full kit, ready to do one capstan. So there's all the parts. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put that spring in there, followed by the jet, then the stat, and then it's retained in position with this here. You push that on and close over the tab. Spring over the jet into the housing. Put that into there, and then you've got the spring to fight against. The way to do that, push that into there, and then you can actually put this over. Until it's in position and finally clamped, and you can see now that everything is as it should be. Then get the spring, slide the spring over the shaft, put on the rings, the identification rings that you know it needs, whichever one it needs, and then fit the little nut, the little washer, and then a new seal, and then that's ready to be reinstalled in the carburetor. And then once the jet's done, slide the jet into position, bolt it up onto the float chamber. Make sure you put the correct markings on. This one is pink and grey. Yeah, I know it don't look like it, but yeah, that's what it's supposed to be, so that's what it is. And now we're going to put the choke rod on to allow the jet to be controlled by the choke rod. And then, yeah, we're pretty much getting there then. The next thing, once overhauled, fit the jet to the float bowl, and then fit the choke mechanism so that the jet is controlled by the choke. The jet has been adjusted for its initial phase. Now the only thing we've got to do now to finish this carburetor off is we've refitted the needle into the piston, so then the bias is towards the engine. We have got a bias on this needle. Refit the piston nice and gently, then the spring, followed by the polished dashpot, like so. 3 nicely plated screws, and then this carburetor, listen to that, lovely. We put the damper in the top. Obviously not going to put any oil in it yet, but the damper goes in the top. Then the carburetor is finished. The carburetor is now ready to be reinstalled back onto the manifold, which will then make this project complete. Lovely, isn't it? A lot of pleasure. A lot of pleasure from that. And very nice to get to the position where you are now. The other carburetor is en route. When the other carburetor gets to the same position that this one's in, then I will show you how to join the carburetors to the manifold, do a basic synchronization, ready to be fitted to a car and run up like a dream.